But anyways, I'm not even sure. I didn't even get to my point. But while you're in sales, and you're especially righteous sales, I'd say for me, I only get myself in sales to where I'm not even selling something. I'm more so educating a person on something that is truly going to benefit them, which allows me to have conviction, allows me to ask the hard questions. Because if I'm pushing something that I don't really believe in, or if I'm pushing something that I know is going to hurt the person more, then that's when I have to sell it to you. Because I have to convince you that there's value in it, and in that process I'm even convincing myself. And for me, since I'm so honest, sometimes too honest, sometimes brutally honest, sometimes I'm too honest for my own good, meaning that like my conviction will come through almost as if like I don't really care how you feel about it, like this is the truth and you're gonna get it. It makes it difficult for me to lie, especially about something that I don't really believe in. So anyways, especially if we're in person, because you'll see my body language and everything, and it's just, I won't make the sale because like my body's already rejecting the fact that like I'm sacrificing self, I'm assassinating my character to get this sale, and this is just me focused. But when I can talk about something that truly is going to help someone, then that's a different story. But the sorrow and the grief that comes with that, I forgot what scripture it is, but it's like when knowledge increaseth, also does grief and sorrow. And it's a interesting paradox, because it's like the more you know that something is good for someone, but they just don't see that for themselves, and you have to kind of bring them to that revelation and have them educated enough to realize like, okay, no, this actually is something that's good for me and beneficial. Reality is that you're gonna have a 50-50 ratio, like half of people are gonna get it and half of people aren't. And that's actually a big statistics. That's like saying that every other person you meet is going to disappoint you, essentially, right? Or every other person you meet is gonna have bad intentions or good intentions, right? Like those are big odds, whether it's in a positive or negative. But in sales, it's like that's kind of the tough skin that you have to develop. That some people, they just are prone to shooting themselves in the foot, you know what I mean? Some people just won't. And that I feel like is why God has kept me over the last 10 years in this period of like grief and sorrow. Sure, there's been joy here and there, but there's been a lot of grief and sorrow, because it's like I've literally spent the last 10 years of my life sacrificing myself in service of others. And I had gotten to a point where I was just like, man, like y'all don't even deserve like this sacrifice anymore. And it keeps bringing me back to the story of Christ, how like Christ, he easily could have said that. I mean, he was blameless and sinless, right? For me, that's like I'm amongst the sinners, right? So who am I to even say that? But it's more of a heart posture thing, where it's just like, man, like I want so good for you, but you gotta want it for yourself. I can't want it more for you than you want it for yourself, type of thing. And yeah, man, it's amazing, because in my process and in my journey of being an entrepreneur, being a salesperson, I really consider myself a person that happens to be in sales, because I can connect and I can work with people. I can teach people how to think things through, and put them in a position to make their own educated decisions with their conviction behind it, which is why my cancellation rates are really low in any sales that I've been in. But yeah, man, it's forcing me to be more Christ-like, which is what keeps me going, right? Because everything in me at times makes me want to ditch sales, right? But again, the other side of that is slavery, until my other businesses take off, right? But in the meantime, even when those businesses take off, there's still a component of sales that is naturally built into entrepreneurship, which is very interesting, because when I was in a position to draft and endorse a team, to create contractual relationships and entrepreneurs, you'd have some people literally just completely what's the word I want to use? Contradict themselves. It's like, yeah, I want to be an entrepreneur and in business, but I don't want to sell anything. And it's just like, well, you always have to start off as the entrepreneur until you build that team. Then you'll have people doing what you don't want to do, essentially, which may be the sales component of things. But at the start, yeah, I mean, it's going to be all on you, until you eventually have the capital to then diversify, your skill set. But then on top of that, what's the word I want to use? oh my God, what's the word I want to use? Delegate positions and leaderships, you know, that you don't want to do to other people. And that's, again, the process of creating a team. But yeah, man, it's just wild. It's just wild. That, like, when you are trying to put people's best foot forward, a lot of times they almost seem convinced that they don't want to have their best foot forward either, and it can create this disdain for people, which it did for me for a while. And you know, again, what keeps me here is that it's making me more Christ-like, to just have grace with those people who just don't get it. And it's like, all right, cool, you know, I did my part. I put forth my best effort. I was honest, you know, I was straightforward, I was clear, I was concise, you know, and obviously I'll always go back and reflect on how I can be more in those areas. But I gave you my all, right? And, you know, whatever you choose to do with that is truly up to you. And having that boundaried approach, and actually really being boundary, truly believing that like, I can do my best, but whatever they choose to do is totally up to them. And you don't have any emotion behind whether or not someone who you've just given complete clarity, who literally just said that they need this and they're thankful for you and that they want this, but then still decides to later on be like, yeah, you know, we decided to pass, or we're not interested, we don't want to protect our families, we don't want to, you know, build a future for ourselves, we don't, whatever the case may be, whatever it is that I've been in a position to make available to people and make them aware that it's available to them. I have to detach myself, and I had to learn that. I had to detach myself from the decisions that other people make that don't seem in alignment with what they told me were their values, that were their core beliefs, etc., etc. Because hey, reality is that goes deeper than I can even swim, right? Like those are uncharted territories where it's like, that's maybe something in their character that has something to do with their, you know, people pleasing. Maybe they were telling me things that weren't true and they knew it wasn't true, but they thought it was what I wanted to hear. And that's their own character flaws that they have to work through, you know what I mean? That can lead them to, you know, bigger fish to fry in the future that maybe they don't have the pain for. And again, that pain is going to make them change, right? Because we don't change until the pain of saying becomes greater than the pain of change. So anyways, just wanted to leave that there. Moments of inspiration out here in the rain. I actually really enjoyed this, you know, just being out here in the rain. But yeah, man, like, comment, subscribe, do all those things, and talk to you guys soon. Peace.